We're next to the airport. The planes are going overhead. They keep coming off the runway. Pause. I started another video. In the one before, I had to pause myself talking about the planes were coming overhead. Crazy work. But you get the point. They were traveling overhead. So we just gonna get to it. And hopefully they'll take a break. With any endeavor, with anything that you want to do, and I want this to especially be a focus for myself and for us this year, don't concern yourself with how. How is a question for the logical part of our brain, but we have a choice in the mind. There being a distinction between those two things. So the brain doing all the processing work, all the X's and O's, trying to add everything up, trying to understand how things can logically occur, when what we're trying to do, more than likely, going from, we could say, the bottom, from the rags to riches, from have not to have. See, those are all perceptions based off the physical world, the outer world, based off the circumstances and context that our physical world likes to say is the truth, when it's not. It is only a truth that we have claimed prior. So that's why it's reflecting back to us in our outside world. But at any time, we have a choice. We have a choice to claim something different. It is super important to not concern yourself with how, because when you're concerned with how, what I've noticed about myself is that when I get too concerned with how, for one, you're not leaving room for that higher thing that you believe in. And for some people, like I always say, it's going to be God, it's going to be Allah. For some people, it's the source, the universe. For another person, it's just a better version of themselves, the higher version of themselves. When you concern yourself with how, you're not leaving the room for the magic to actually occur, the magic that is unseen, the magic that it's not going to make sense. It's not going to be a direct path. Understanding that any path towards success, even from a very practical standpoint, is filled with mountaintops and valleys, highs and lows. But from this mental, spiritual aspect, I don't want you to concern yourself with how. And I'm speaking to myself as well. Don't concern yourself with how. Focus your intention first. The intention gets set in the mental state. And then focus your energy and your attention, because obviously, wow, that's a loud one. That's a loud one. Focus first. The mental aspect being the intention that exists in the mind, the idea, the thought. That, and then where your attention goes, the energy and your actions are going to follow suit. So understand that what you're trying to do, it's not going to make sense. Definitely not to other people, and most of the time, maybe not to you as well. You will have your moments of clarity where you're like, oh, I see it, or I understand it. But part of it is also being able to see and understand what is unseen. Allowing yourself your own imagination and intuition to tell you what is true, regardless of what your circumstances are, regardless of the money you have or don't have, regardless of that place you want to live that you're not there yet, regardless of the things that you want to achieve or the things that you want to create that you haven't done yet. You are going to do all of those things. Those things are all ready for you to go and execute on. But it's so important off top to first just start from the place of accepting your truth first. That I can say and claim a thing prior to it happening. To me, that's truly the best part. It's like when you got some money, or you got the car you want, or you got the girl you want, or you got the career you want, or you doing what you think you need to be doing. Those things are cool, but it's almost like you don't fully understand the process by which that actually occurred. It's just happening to you. You're just experiencing it. And it feels good, feels great, it's awesome, cool. But there's this whole other aspect when those things begin to occur after there has been that level of, no, I can specifically recall and I can specifically remember when my pockets in the physical world were doing a certain thing. They looked a certain way. It was not 4 pockets full. It was not even 1 pocket full. Pockets was empty. Didn't have nothing saved up. However, I claimed a certain thing for myself, and I allowed myself to stay in that mental state far before I started producing any type of physical reflection or evidence in my life. That is, to me, that is the best part. It's something different. When things just happen, they happen, and you don't necessarily know the process by which that is occurring. But when you can kind of trace the process of, it's like, wait, I was already in my wish fulfilled prior to it even happening, so much so that I got in the state of not necessarily needing that thing to occur anymore. I was at peace in my mind. I had the clarity in my mind. I started to understand my own power. There's been a couple times throughout my life where I was able to do that, and that's where I started to understand that distinction. I'm like, this is different. This feels way better, but it's something much deeper than that. There is it's hard to put in words. There's just a certain clarity about that, of claiming something in the mental state prior to it occurring. And if you maybe are a person who feels like everything needs to be affirmed by what you actually got going on in the physical world, then in some ways that's when we can kind of get into the understanding of what the Bible would refer to as worshiping false idols. An idol can be anything, and sometimes we put our happiness or our peace of mind or our clarity of life, we put that into a physical, tangible thing. Well, to worship that false idol is to understand that if that goes away, then all the other emotions attached to that thing, they're gone as well. They were dependent on that thing existing. They were dependent on my perceived ownership of that thing, when in reality, for one, we gonna go today. You see this beautiful view? I just have right now to view this, and maybe I'll have the opportunity and the blessing to come back and view this again. But the reality is that I will not always be able to experience just something like a view. So everything being owned in the mental part of your mind, the ownership being in the mental part of your mind, for anything that you want, for any endeavor that you're trying to go on. When you concern yourself with how is a thing going to occur, it removes the responsibility and the accountability away from that higher God body version of you. And it's like, oh, well, how is the physical me going to do this? I've never done that before. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if that's for me. I don't know if I'm supposed to be doing this. All these different things that the physical mind is trying to just, it's trying to give you data points based off what is quote unquote logical or what has happened. But where you're trying to go is a place that you haven't been yet. So you have to trust something that is unseen. It is in fact unseen. It hasn't occurred yet. doesn't make it any less real. This gets into deeper conversations about what is actually reality. We human beings have been, somewhat stuck for a long time, especially the masses have been stuck that, there's even a question, or there's this big question of where are we going after we die? What happens when we're gone? When we're done, we're done. So we very much have a perception towards things that, well, when it's over for me, it's over for me. Our truth and our reality is very much tied and connected to our physical body and our physical experience. The physical experience is just that. It is the experience that what I believe your soul comes to experience. It has arrived to experience the whole magnitude and the whole multitude of all the different things that can be experienced in this world. The most disgusting, heinous things, and the things that are close to heaven and euphoria. Bringing all those things into one space, those dualities existing, and people having a choice to decide, what do you want to experience? If we thinking that, oh, well, when I'm done, and it's just the physical me, if we thinking that, then we definitely not going to make the jump or make the step into thinking, oh, well, I also have the power to claim things that are unseen. I also have the power to claim something for even people around me before they experience it. That can get into a whole nother topic, but, I'm trying to stay focused on thinking about that concept of trying to concern yourself with how. Because I have done that so much in my life to the point that it's exhausting. The point that it curves the progress. You're hesitating on taking steps because you think you need to have every step understood, that you need to know each step. You're not going to. But what is key when not concerning yourself with how is understanding that you have all the answers. You don't have every answer for everything, but you have all the answers that are required for the step that is at hand. You have every answer that is required. Sometimes that answer literally is get your ass up out the bed. Sometimes that answer is you don't need to be doing that. Sometimes the answer is we'll go try. Sometimes the answer is here I am walking home. Man, I want to make a video. We'll take a quick right, go off and make the video. Just go do it. But if I'm trying to concern myself with, well, how am I gonna set up my phone? What am I gonna talk about? How long is it gonna be? What am I gonna talk about? All those things aren't necessarily questions. Becoming aware of that. All those things are not necessarily questions that your brain is presenting to you for the sake of, oh, I want to make sure that you create the best thing ever, and I just want to know that we're going to get it right. Your brain is not really processing it in that way. It's almost just kind of paradigms, patterns, or perspectives that the brain kind of uses to kind of nudge you in the way that's like, you could do that another time. Do it later. Don't do it right now. It's not going to work. It's not going to come out how you want it to come out. Now, there probably is a logical part of the brain that is just, trying to do its calculations. But getting into another thing of when concerning yourself with how, some of what your brain is thinking compared to what your heart, your soul, the mind, your higher self, all those things, what they are thinking is the brain is focused on the survival aspect. The higher self is focused on, I'm not worried about your survival. I know, and you know somewhere in your heart you're not going to be here every day and forever. So go ahead right now and reveal the greatness that is within you. You don't have as much time as you may think that you got. So go ahead and get to it. Those are two completely different thought processes. Higher self, like, hey, I see something different. I see that that half a percentage, not even a 1%, that half a percentage, that step that you take, I see how that connects down the road. I see. Higher self understands how, but it is not for us to always concern ourselves with, how is this going to work out for me? If I'm broke right now, how am I going to get all this money that I desire to have? If I don't got no car, oh man, how am I going to pay for the insurance? How am I going to pay for the car? Am I going to have the note? Man, I got something on my rental record. How the hell am I going to get the crib? How am I going to get the house? The logical brain. The irony is that I feel like the way God sees it, the way our higher self sees it, it's almost like the higher self look at the logical brain, the little computing that we try to do in the physical, and it's like, that's not so logical. We swear up and down that it's the facts. It's just the truth. That's just the reality of what's going on. Whole time, higher self looking at you like, no, it's not. No, it's not. And then there's no coincidence why we claim those things for ourselves and then we get those results. A misunderstanding on our power, a misunderstanding of what each one of these individuals in these cars, the power that they have, the power that I have, the people in the damn plane, the pilot, everybody in these offices. A lot of what exists in our world that, you know, we claim that we don't like or that we wish was different is a byproduct and a repercussion of us not understanding our power, us not understanding what we actually control. It's not our job to concern ourselves with how. It is our job to do the work. Especially when it comes to creatives, especially when it comes to entrepreneurs, especially when it comes to truly anyone. It is your job. What is yours, what is on your plate is the work. That's what's on your plate. Not the questions, not the doubting, not the skepticism, not the wondering. That's not your job. Grant yourself the grace of understanding that I'm not going to know how. I'm not going to know how that this unravels. I just know that it will unravel. I just know the state and the frequency I'm in. I know what I have claimed for myself. As corny as, you know, some of the affirmations can be, and sometimes the affirmations just being a reaffirming of what you have yet to accept subconsciously. As corny as those can be sometimes, all your affirmations, those things that you put down, those things that come from your authentic self in your core, that's your truth. The only real process is remaining in that frequency, in that mental state long enough for it to reflect back to you. But you can't be stuck on when is it going to reflect back to me. I done told myself I am wealthy 10,000 times and I ain't wealthy yet. Why is it not working? Clearly having an attachment to seeing it in the physical, not understanding that it's about the mental state. It's about the peace of mind that comes when you say that to yourself. Being in that and understanding when it occurs, just knowing, I knew. I knew. I'm thankful. I'm grateful. I am happy and I am joyful that it is reflecting back. But I wasn't sitting around waiting for the world, my truth and my reality to reflect something back to me to where it's like, oh yeah, now we good. Now it's real. And I say these things laughing, and I say these things, you know, somewhat sarcastically, only for the sake that these are observations I see about myself every single day. Where it's like, you waiting on that, the outside world. You waiting on the outside world to confirm it. for you when your job was always to confirm it for yourself and do the work to get there, because those are the experiences that you say that you want to have. You say you want those experiences, then claim it first and then enjoy the process of the experience. Slow down. Take the action. I'm not saying slow down so you can sit up and not do nothing. Conversation with myself. That's not how I'm saying slow down. What I'm saying slow down is just understand that it's like, look at what we have the ability to create. Look at the mountains and the sunset. Look at this. Look at what us being in the image of God has created, and look at what God creates. Look at the mountains. Look at the sunset. Come on, man. We gotta get clear with our power. If you're really serious about results, then you gotta be clear and accountable with the power that you have. I know it's paradoxical. On one hand, you telling me just claim the state and be in that mental state and don't worry about the results. And then on another hand, you telling me this is what I gotta do to get the results. Should I want the results or should I not want the results? I understand. It can be a little, it can make you scratch your brain a little bit. But it is both. It is both. Just understanding the order by which it occurs. Being clear about the order that which it occurs. Like I said, don't be confused that, because you got all this stuff right now that you think that, I think people are aware of that. I think they understand that just because they have stuff now, they are aware that things can't be or can be taken from them. I think people are aware of that. But I'm just saying, be aware of, based off the universal principles, the chronological order of it occurring for you to become, ascended within yourself, not ascended to enlightenment and all this other stuff, just that process of growing within yourself, being able to know that you're a person that I'm close to source. I'm right there with source, and source is right there with me. And source is always telling me about my abundance. Source is always telling me what I am, always revealing to me my greatness, always showing me the love and the thoroughness of who I am, and then letting that flow outward to where that is the results that you get. But when it's like, results occur, and then, oh, well, this is why I'm like that. I get money, so this is why I'm like that. Well, you see, I be with the baddest shorties. You know how I get down. You see what whip I'm in. That's how I'm coming. Pause. But you get the point. It's not about just the thing. It's not about just the thing. It's about just the process, man, and the journey of things. It's paradoxical, but it's both. It's about the journey and it's about the destination. Just understand how you got to the destination. Let it be something that you can recreate. Let it be something that you can teach to people around you, or to your children, or to your family. So they're aware. They're not thinking, oh, he is this because he has all those things. No, they're thinking, nah, I knew he was always saying this. That's what's so dope about him, is he was always saying that. And I remember he was on the bus. I remember he was walking to work. I remember he used to ask me for some bread. I remember when he didn't have it. I remember he was always by himself. I didn't see him go on no dates. I remember he was struggling to create that song. I remember he was struggling to do that thing. But he always knew. He was always just acting like he knew. Like something was coming for him. Pause. Man. Look at this, man. Just look. I wish sometimes cameras could just be as dope as all this is, man. I got a call, sorry. I was praying it was still recording, jeez. I'm like, no. See, and that's the thing. If I wouldn't have been recording right there would have been that little logical process of, oh my goodness. I was just rambling and ranting. How am I going to recreate that? How? Concerning myself with how? Not understanding, okay, either stop it or press record or go back to the crib, do it again. Try. Don't concern yourself with how, man. Stop concerning yourself with how. And trust and be in that place of understanding that you are. What you're saying I am to up here. When you say I am that thing, be that thing right now. And then let all your actions down the line reflect what you said I am to. Also understanding that just saying I am to the thing, yeah, that's going to do a ton for you. But because you came to experience the physical life, there is two parts to this system. There is that process of, okay, mentally, in meditation, in prayer, in my quiet space, or just day to day when I'm doing this, I've claimed this I am thing that people are talking about. Shouldn't everything be happening for me? Well, yeah, you did the first step in the chronological process. Now it's all of the time, or it's time for all of the action. Also, don't try to do all the grind and the action and the hustle and the busy work without actually changing who you are at a mental core level. And it's hard to say core because I think what we are at the core kind of it is something that we will always be. It's something that we are always connected to. That higher thing that we are connected to, it is removed from this physical thing. It's even removed from the higher dimensions in spiritual and mental planes. It's higher than those things. So at a core level, you just are, and you always have been. But as I was saying, don't try to do one without the other. Don't be the spiritual person who thinks that they're going to sit there and just manifest everything by sitting in meditation and not going and living life. Don't be the person on the other end of the spectrum who thinks all the spiritual stuff is just cringeworthy because all you got to do is grind and all you got to do is work and all you got to do is that. However, if on either end of the spectrum you getting the results that you want for your life, hey, don't let me on YouTube tell you any different. Do you. I'm just talking to anybody who resonates with it and talking about what I have noticed about my own experience, because I've been on both sides, sitting there trying to manifest the money, sitting there working my ass off to manifest, or to earn the money, trying to approach it and like, oh man, I need to stop thinking it's all about the spirituality stuff and I need to just work. I just need to work and go do all that work. Make some leeway, have some leverage. Ain't even changed at a core level. Haven't changed my identity, so my identity keeps reflecting in the back. Like, yeah, you working your ass off, but in your heart, you feel like you come from poverty. Everybody struggle around you. Everybody pinching a dollar. Everybody got to work their whole life to have something, and we just gonna have a little left over and enough, and we should be grateful for that. And don't say no more. You see how if you don't change at a core level, you still gonna keep getting the same results even with all the work that needs to be done? And you see how crazy people think, or how crazy it sounds when you really think about it, of thinking that in this physical experience where action is required, that you could sit in a space and just manifest something. Like I said, if you get results that way, then do your thing. you are obviously a very, very either enlightened, ascended, or you are very, very in tune with the power that is within us. I give it up to you. I do. If you can just sit there and manifest and things, everything happens by that process. And to be honest with you, I do think there may have been a point in time where us humans were a little more in tune with that power. And we did have the ability to do that. I just think, to a certain extent though, kind of takes the fun out of things. It's like, say, okay, I'm so enlightened and I'm so powerful that if I close my eyes, I'm going to spend 30 minutes meditating. And someone's going to call me and they're going to say, hey, I got 10K for you. Hey, I got 20K for you. I got 30, 40K for you. And I just manifested that in my mind. I'm so powerful and enlightened. Yeah, that's cool and all, but where was the fun in that? That's what I don't get, is where was the fun in that? For a person who's broke, it's like, I don't even care about the fun. I just want the money. False idol. You think when you get the money, everything's going to change. So it's like, hey, show me how to manifest. Show me how to get what I want in 24 hours. Give me the sleep meditation to go through so when I wake up, I got some money in my account. To the person who is broke, shit, they just want the quickest result from point A to point B. I get it. But to me, there is an experience to be had, and there's more fun in just trying to use one or the other. Grinding yourself to death, or just thinking that you're going to rub crystals and drink your sea moss and, throw on your beads. You're going to sit there and levitate. And boom, you got everything that you want. I don't know. But I do know about my own experience, and that hasn't been the case. So, like I said, don't concern yourself with how. Focus on claiming the mental state prior to the thing occurring. That's the main thing. You have to become aware first of what is going on up here. What do you believe to be your truth? Who do you believe yourself to be? Claim a thing. Just because you ain't got it, or blah, 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 blah. Everything that comes with I am not, and all the things that come with all the things that you don't have, even though that may be the main topic on your mind and the main thoughts that go through your brain, try to start. Don't even try, because it's not about trying when I know you have the capability. You are here, alive and present. Adjust your mental state and get into a new frequency that produces a new result for yourself. And like I'm saying, let the mental state push you into action. The point is not to just say I am and then return to the old phase or the old man, the old woman. The point is to claim the mental state. So that mental state says, oh, I just said I am this. What are the things that that person does? Oh, well, I am that. I'm in this mental space. I'm staying here. I'm solidified in this. This is my truth. Then everything down the line becomes a thing where it's like, I'm going to do this thing because that's what I said. And as you start moving through them action points, that old self going to come back to you. That old self going to try to say something to you. That old self going to say, but how is this actually going to happen? Why are you doing this? This is difficult. This is challenging. All the different things that the brain tries to say to us. That's all I wanted to say today, is just, even if I just rambled for this whole video and all you hear today is don't concern yourself with how, I'm gonna let your intuition sit with that. Hopefully I said it enough in this video that, like I said, if I just rambled and you didn't get anything out of this video, the one thing that you heard in your mind was don't concern yourself with how, and let that reflect back into your life, into your week, into your month, and into your year, to where it comes across your mind of, I'm not gonna concern myself with how. That's all I got for y'all. enjoy, man. Enjoy.